Hey, it's Taylor with Mom on the Spectrum. Today I just wanted to talk about a new concept to me that I've been thinking about a lot called uneven productivity. There's nothing scientific about this term. This just came up off the cuff in one of our autistic community groups, and I've been thinking about it a lot. It's not necessarily a term that goes with autism, but it's one that's really resonated with the autistic community and with me. And I've been thinking about it so much. So I wanted to take a second just to kind of extemporaneously, if you will, explore this term because I think it might be helpful to some of you. And I think it's helpful for me to talk about. So these are just my musings today. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm a late diagnosed mom. And I started this channel to help other autistic adults by creating resources that are helpful. So if that sounds like something that you need or want in your life, click the subscribe button. But yeah, let's talk about uneven productivity. So this term came up, I believe it was during one of the Autistic Inertia and demand avoidance groups. I've got community groups that meet throughout the month, and you can find info in the description. And this term came up, uneven productivity. And it was just there was this immediate resonance for the people in the group. And for me, I was like, this makes so much sense. So the way I've kind of defined it is what's the word? Oh, I wrote spurts. Like spurts of hyperactivity followed by an inability to work or a shutdown. So one way that I've seen this in my life before I was thinking about uneven productivity, it just kind of reminds me of this situation. When I'm traveling, there's all this stimulation, right? There's so much happening in the airport and so many people talking, hustle and bustle, whatever. I don't need to get into it. When I finally get on the plane, I can just sit and zone out and do nothing for a long time. I really hope to God that you cannot hear the lawnmower that just started outside my window. And so I'll just sit there on the plane, zoning out. And I think it's my brain's way of saying, you just did all this work to get here, all this stimulation, and now you just need to zone out and process this. You're not going to do anything until you process it. And so I think that kind of relates to my work productivity. I quite like going into my black hole of productivity. I mean, I feel like I can work longer and harder than anybody that I know. And I'm very proud of the work that I can do during that time. It's very well thought out work. It's very thorough and creative, self-expressive. After that, I'll get to the end of that black hole productivity, TM, I guess. Not really. And I'll realize during that time, I shut down a lot of my body's cues that I was hungry or needed to go to the bathroom or that I was getting agitated about the background noise. And so after that period of productivity, I'm kind of stunned, kind of like being on the plane where my body's like, hang on, you have to stop and process this. And all these things start catching up to me. The background noise that has been there that I didn't realize, the hunger in my stomach that now is amplified, and now I'm irritable because I waited too long to cook, right? So there's consequences to this black hole productivity. So all that kind of hits me like a brick wall after I'm finally peeling myself away from my work and trying to integrate myself back into real life with my relationships with my kids, getting dinner ready. So there's consequences to it, but I very much like the productivity that comes with that black hole focus. So after that, maybe the next day, then you've got this delayed processing that comes in the mix with being on the spectrum. You can feel like you got hit by a truck the next day because you're like, why am I so exhausted, right? And it doesn't hit me sometimes until I remember, oh yeah, I had so much productivity yesterday, and all I want to do the next day is stay in bed the entire day. And don't get me wrong, I love to work. I really, really love to work. But it's almost like I have to have these stints of extreme focus followed by extreme rest. Because if there's something on my schedule, I can't rest. right? And I've heard y'all say that before. Like, if there's a dentist appointment on the schedule, guess that's the only thing you're going to get done that day, right? You're going to be either thinking about the dentist appointment, going to the dentist appointment, or processing the fact that you went to the dentist appointment. So that's kind of how it is when I'm resting. It's like, if there's something on the schedule, I cannot rest. So it has to be the opposite side of the spectrum, if you will, with rest, where black hole productivity, black hole rest, where there's nothing on the schedule. And good luck with that, right? Because I'm a mom and like there's hardly ever nothing on the schedule. But hopefully you catch my drift here. Like the opposite side of the coin is that I feel like I need extreme rest. Almost like sensory deprivation or something. So I wanted to share this. I think it really relates to autistic inertia, which, if you're unfamiliar with that, it's kind of this idea that once you start something, it's really hard to stop doing it. And if you're coming from a place of doing nothing, it's extremely hard to get started. So I think those two concepts are intertwined. I'm not going to go too far into it. Again, there's that community group over that topic if you want to converse with me about that and learn more about that. And I wanted to just shoot this and have like some tips for being able to manage this, right? And then I started writing down tips for like helping yourself come out of the black hole. And then, I don't know, in this moment, it just doesn't feel right. I'm like, I like the black hole. It feels like me. It feels like where I get my best work done. So rather than saying like, here's how you can fight against your nature, right? Today, I just want to say like, maybe that is your nature and maybe that's okay. I realize I'm coming from a privileged place because I get to run this channel for my job. And so I work for myself. I work from home. Hopefully the camera doesn't fall over because my cat is trying to pretend like he's a podcast host right now. Come here. I did see your comments on the last video. They're like, somebody's like, what is that sound coming through? It was him purring because he was sitting right next to the microphone. Come here. So rather than giving you tips today to be like, here's how to shut down this cosmic force behind your productivity, instead of that, I want to say like, hello and welcome to being an autistic adult. And maybe that's the way we're supposed to be. Yeah, I know like real life has to happen and maybe your kids have an event at school and you have to get yourself out of the black hole productivity. Yes, there's all these asterisks, right? This is never like, it works all the time. No. But like, I'm quite happy with my tendency to work this way unless I try to put it in the context of the real world. And then I feel really guilty, right? Because when I need rest, I feel really guilty because I'm like, oh, everybody else can work 5 days in a row. Why can't you work 5 days in a row? Or everybody else can answer an email, even on a rest day. Why can't you answer an email on a rest day? Why does that throw you into a tizzy? But when I just focus on the fact that, hey, I really like to have intense productivity followed by intense rest, that actually feels pretty good to me. And I actually do pretty good work that way. I don't know, I'm having a moment here with myself. I think there's some radical self-acceptance available here. So take that, if you will, if it resonates with you. My invitation for you here is more, I'm laughing because I'm doing 30 days of yoga with Adrienne on her YouTube channel, and I hear my language like reflecting her modality. She's wonderful. So my invitation for you here as I channel my inner Adrienne is more self-exploration, more self-compassion, curiosity, just asking questions about why you do the things you do without judgment and just leaning into it and being curious, finding out different ways that you work and trying to accept those things rather than to slam on the brakes, do a 180 and do it the way the rest of the world does it. Y'all, there's a lot of autistic people. Like, there's a lot of autistic people. And the more we talk about it, the more we learn self-acceptance and how to communicate about these ideas and these things, like we will just keep realizing like we're not alone. We're not the weird ones. Like, and I mean, I like embracing that term. You know, I like being weird. I like being unique and different. But I just say that like there's nothing wrong with us. And so if you want to, embrace this unique side of yourself, I'm here trying to do it as well. So I just wanted to talk about that today. If you want to check out some of the community groups, you can find them at momonthespectrum.life/community. I'll put that link in the description. You know, along with the shutdown that can come after black hole productivity, that can also be a meltdown sometimes. It can also be like a sensory shutdown. And if you're looking for more help managing that, I have a meltdown survival guide that I put together, and I'll put the link for that in the description as well. So I hope my cats have given you some entertainment for today. They seem to be very restless this morning, unevenly productive, maybe. But you're great. You're wonderful. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments if this term resonates with you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.